Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'll be doing some servicing on my Versys because I was traveling quite a lot lately and the bike really needs some work done. So don't go anywhere. I was in Slovakia for the weekend with my friends and just a few days later I went to Romania to do the Romania trip. And I was there for a week. And there was a lot of riding, many hot days, dirty roads, a bit of rain. There was a bit of everything. And because all of that, my bike is a mess at the moment. So what I'm gonna do? First of all, I'm gonna clean the bike because the bike is so filthy, it's really unbelievable. Everything is covered with grease, dust, sand, mud and everything. So it really needs a good clean. So first of all, I'm gonna go and clean the bike with a high pressure gun. And then I come back to my garage and I'm gonna clean it with the water and my shampoo. And we're gonna dry the bike and then I will start to do the service. And there is few things that needs to be done. First of all, I really need to clean the brakes. When I did the last service by my dealer in October 2023, they didn't tell me that my brake pads are around 45%. So I was sure, okay, the service was made, so it have to be good, right? Now, not really. When I went to Slovakia with my friends, we've been riding quite a lot, quite quickly, so the brakes were used very intensively. And actually I used there about 30% of the 45%. And just one day before departure to Romania, I discovered that I have around 15% of my brake pads, which was definitely not enough for Romania, the country where there's a lot of twisty roads, mountains, that kind of stuff. You need to brake a lot. I couldn't buy the brake pads here at the place because there is no Kawasaki service close by, so I would have to order it and that would take a day and I didn't have that time. So I decided I'm just gonna go to Romania and there I'm gonna look for the brake pads. And that's exactly what I did. When I was in Romania, I called to the nearby dealer in Cluj-Napoca and they arranged the brake pads for me. But they were not original Kawasaki brake pads, it was a Brembo brake pads. I'm not saying that they're worse than Kawasaki, I think they're better, but the problem is I did very quick swap on the road, or actually at our accommodation. I didn't have right tools to do it, I just had some simple tools in my toolkit. I didn't have my brake pad grease, so it was just quick swap and the brakes were already dirty. So they are not working the way I would like to. So I'm gonna remove them, I'm gonna clean them and I'm gonna do it proper way now. Second thing I need to do is the chain. I need to clean it very well, I have to grease it up and I need to adjust the chain because I don't know what I did at the service, but in my feeling it is working too loud, so I have to check that. Another thing on my list is oil change. Well, normally you should do the oil change every 12,000 kilometers. I did after the service around 8,000. But because from now on I'm doing my own service, I decided I'm gonna change oil much earlier. I'm not gonna wait till 12,000 kilometers. I was thinking around 10,000, but I'm busy with all the things. I have oil filter. So I'm gonna do it just now after 8,000 kilometers. Fresh oil is always good, right? And between the jobs on the list, I'm gonna check some other things that have to be changed, like bearings and rubbers and bolts and everything. I'm just gonna do the total check of the bike. As I mentioned, I will start with cleaning the bike. I'm not really dressed up for the bike ride, but it is 30 degrees outside and the high pressure washer is just 1 kilometer from here. I'm not gonna bother to dress up. I'm just gonna go quickly clean the bike and I will come back to the garage. Let's do that. Bike is clean. Now let's start with the servicing. So I will begin with the brakes. I'm gonna clean front brakes and the rear brake, and for that I'm gonna use a few things. First of all, a brake cleaner. Actually I have two kinds of brake cleaners. I have a special brake grease which helps where the brake pads are on the pins where they're moving, and as well greasing up the backside of the brake pads. It helps with squeaking, the brakes doesn't squeak, but of course most important is the cleaning. So I'm gonna do that. Without further ado, let's get to work. I need to loosen these pins. There's two pins that guides the brake pads. Now I need to remove the brakes, but I have to gently pull it aside so that the brake pad's gonna get a bit loose like that. And this way, so I can gently remove the whole brakes without scratching my rim. I will remove both pins now. Here they are. The other one. And right now my brake pads are free. Yeah. As you can see, I have two free brake pads. There inside on the back of the caliper there is a spring plate which I have to remove, but at the moment I have the brake pistons extended, so it's gonna be difficult. So I'm gonna push them in a little bit, which I shouldn't do because I need to clean it here, but don't worry, I show you what I'm gonna do. Unfortunately, I don't have all my brake tools here. I need to improvise a little bit. So I have my wood brush and I'm gonna push them inside a little bit. Yep. Wood is soft, so I'm not gonna damage the pistons. I still can't move that. Yep. Here we go. Spring plate. It needs to be clean. Now to properly clean the pistons, I need them more outside. To do that, I need to press the brake. But there is big chance that if I do that like that, they're just gonna spring out and I have one big leak. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use the brake pads and a piece of thin plywood, which will imitate the disc brake. And then I'm gonna press the brake lever. This way my brake cylinders will come out. Let me see. Okay. I think they are retracted. Good. And as you can see, the cylinders came out a bit, so I can do the proper cleaning inside there. Well, probably you are wondering now, why am I not using any gloves? Well, I don't know. I just don't like them. I like to feel what I'm doing. As you can see, they're quite dirty. Okay, I have nice and clean brake caliper. Now I have to push the pistons back. And as I mentioned, normally I do that with a special tool, but I just don't have it here, so I'm gonna use a piece of wood, which is my metal brush. Wood is softer, so I won't be able to damage the pistons or anything else, and they just went nicely inside. That is done. Let's clean the rest, but I'm gonna do that on the table. So I need to clean the bolts, the pins and the spring plates, and for that I'm gonna use the other cleaner. Just gonna pour into this container with help of brush, and we're just gonna clean it nicely. This cleaner is alcohol based, so no smoking while working, and it is drying very quickly, so as you can see, very nice and shiny bolt. I think next time I will change the brake pads. I'm gonna buy a new pins as well, because probably they're worn, I don't know. So yeah, for now they're good enough. And what is left is the spring plates, and that's very nice and clean spring plate. As you can see, here is written up, which means that this part has to be on the top of the brake caliper when it's mounted. And the last but not least, brakes. It is important to clean here between these plates, these holes, because there most of the times there is a lot of dust. But it has to be done very gently, so you don't destroy the brake pad. And I'm using for that tie wrap. It's a plastic, and I just rub it all the dust away. This case is not much, but there is something. And most of the times this is exactly what is squeaking. And we are done with the cleaning. So let's install them back on the bike. And now the important part of this job. So first of all, I need to put back the spring plates. As I mentioned before, here is up, so it have to go with this part on the top here, so this way. And now what I do a little bit grease. It's a special ceramic grease for the brakes, and I'm just using just a little bit here, because this is exactly the place where the brake pad is moving like that. So it is important that it's a little bit greased up here, not much, otherwise the grease is gonna go into the brake pads and then you are in trouble when braking. So just a little bit on each of these plates. And now I need to insert with the up, so like that, and just push it in Oh, come on, don't do that. Yeah, okay. The plate is in place. Now, second part, brake pads and the pins. And now I'm gonna use again a little bit grease in here on the brake pads in these holes, because through these holes comes the pins, so they work inside. I'm gonna grease up the pins as well. And another thing that I need to grease up is the backside of the brake pads where the cylinders push. Because they are already used, you'll see exactly where the cylinders are pushing the brake pads. So I'm just gonna use a little bit grease in here. It is really not necessary to use a lot, just a little bit. And on the other side as well. Like that. Very important, try not to touch the brake pads inside, because you're gonna grease them up and then your braking is gone. Okay, they are inside. And now I'm gonna grease up the pins as well. Just a little bit. I'm gonna insert the pins. And as you can see, very clean, very nice. And I'm gonna use on the bolts as well. Just because dealers doing it. I don't know if that's correct or not, but they doing it every time, so I do it as well. Now the brake parts are very wide now, so I can easily insert on the brake disc without any problems. And now the bolts. Now I need to tie them up with the right torque. Now I can fasten the pins as well. I can install ABS sensor again. And this side is done. So all what I have to do is push brake lever a few times for the brake pads to tighten on the brake disc. And here we go. Let's do the other side. Well, changing calipers on the other side of the bike is exactly the same, with a small difference in my bike, because I have something which is called Roadlock. It's just basically a lock for the wheel, which is mounted on the caliper, so I don't have the original bolts here. Here are the Allen bolts, they are longer, and here are the spacers. How it works: this is just blind plate, so the dust won't go inside when you're riding. It looks like that. It's just a cover. And when you want to block the wheel, you have this spring-loaded pin. Basically I have to insert this spring-loaded pin, turn the key, pin stays in, and now, yeah, that's it. I just have to move a wheel a little bit, and this spring-loaded pin goes into the holes from the brake disc. So it just goes in one of the holes and it's keeping the wheel blocked, and that's it. I have installed this Roadlock 2 years ago when I bought the bike, and I have the footage, but I just never had time to make this video. And later I thought, yeah, nobody's interested in it. If you are interested in this Roadlock, how it works, how it's the installation process, just let me know in the comments. If there is interest in this, I'm gonna make this video. I'm gonna look for the footage. For now, let's clean the brakes on this side. The Roadlock looks like that. It's an aluminium. It's a very simple thing, but it is working quite okay. Unfortunately, it is ridiculously expensive. But as I mentioned, if you're interested, I'm gonna make a video about it. Front brakes are done. It's time for the rear one. Let's go. Well, the problem with the rear brake caliper is that I have this exhaust on the way. So to make myself a better access, I'm gonna remove this bolt and I'm gonna loosen the other bolt and turn the exhaust like that. And now I have very easy access to the brake caliper. The brake caliper in the rear is a little bit different. The brake pads are different. There's only one pin and two bolts keeping the brake caliper, and they are, as they called, a swimming bolts. So the brake caliper is moving. Okay, so this bolt is a 12, this bolt is 14. Now we have here on the back pretty decent brake pads, so all I need to do is just clean them up, and the brake caliper as well, and I need to remove these spring plates as well. Let's clean it up. This flat screwdriver bolt is actually just a cover, and underneath there is another bolt, which is Allen, of course. I can remove the pin. Here we go. Pin, 2 brake pads. Let me see if they're symmetrical. No, they're not symmetrical. They can be only in one position. This with the hole is going outside. By the way, there is another spring plate which needs to be clean, and I'm gonna clean this as well a bit. Okay, that is good. Let's go and clean the small things. Everything is nice and clean, so let's do the assembly. And now I need to insert the spring plate, which goes like that. A little bit grease. Grease on the pin. And on the back side, of course. This one needs to go here. And this one here. Then I need to insert the pin. Now is the tricky part. Everything looks okay, so now I can, did I check this one? Yeah, so I can close the pinhole. Okay, it is working. Okay, that's done. Let's put the exhaust on its place. Okay, the brakes are done. Next step is the chain. Cleaning, adjusting and lubricating.